What was it? Oh, it's live right now.
Oh God, it's live.
Cool.
Wait,
Go, Michael,
wait,
go.
no, don't go yet. No, we can't do live.
I have not finished counting to 10.
No, we did it.
Oh, thank you. All right. Thanks for the out loud, Noah.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Big day for me. Been sitting on a book for 10 months now that I've had completed and finally launched a Graveyard for Heroes book 2 in the Dreams of Dust and Steele series. Here's book 1, The Price of Power. Yes, root for it. Thank you. Little fist pump. Yeah, nice. Thanks. I'm actually just super excited to talk to all my friends who've decided to join me for this. Authors, reviewers, actually. All
Just
4 of you were both? No, everybody kind of does both. That's amazing.
Yeah, I did both. I haven't made content in like weeks.
Really? Okay.
Now, so.
Yeah.
We're in transition. Some of us. We're in transition.
I'll make more content.
It's all good.
Eventually.
But I'm gonna just do my quick plug for my books, and then I'm gonna turn it over to get introductions from all of you, and then I've got some questions if something natural doesn't arise. But I would like to ask at least a few of the questions because I spent a little bit of time curating these. They're fun. You'll like them, I hope.
Oh boy.
So yeah, are you ready,
possibly
Andy?
Go wrong.
Oh, a lot of questions didn't make the cut when I passed them through.
Can we have those ones? Because those are probably going to be the better ones, to be honest with you.
No, they were. Trust that you don't want to answer them.
Yeah, you guys were in the review bomb. It was not good.
Yeah, no. So, like I said, I'm the author of The Price of Power and A Graveyard for Heroes, which launched today on KDP. It's available in ebook, Kindle Unlimited, and if you want a paperback or hardback, probably hit me up because I don't know what Amazon's doing with their hardbacks. I don't know if anybody else is having issues, but it's been weird. They've been saying book 1's out of stock for 2 months. Anyways, but Dreams of Dust and Steel. It's like if Game of Thrones had X-Men in it. It's got that same psychosocial magic system of X-Men with the political intrigue and blood and character driven fantasy of Game of Thrones. But yeah, there it is. I really need not say more. Go check it out if you're interested. Here's what they look like on the shelf if you got all the formats. So
congrats, Michael. That's awesome.
Thank you.
It's such a good feeling to get the second book out. So cool.
Yeah. I'm going to say at least Price of Power felt more like First Law than Game of Thrones, in that like Game of Thrones was this big epic world, and we got a lot of that in Price of Power, but where First Law really focused on just a few characters and kind of went deep with them. I really liked that about Price of Power, whereas Game of Thrones kind of stayed on the big scale. You got to know people a little bit, but it stayed pretty big. It was almost like a historical recounting almost, whereas First Law, I mean, it's just that real like intimate invasion of the characters' heads. And so I like when I reviewed Price of Power the first time or both times, that was what I compared it to, because that one felt probably the most like it to me. Granted, there was no Logan Nine Fingers, but the Prince Baradin's friend, she may be heading in that direction. I'm hoping so.
He's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll back Andy up on that. The first review that I wrote for it, that's exactly what I said. I said it was the closest to Abercrombie that I've ever read. Man,
what an awesome way to put that. That's so cool. Again, congrats, Michael. That's so awesome.
Thank you, Evan. Little do you know, I've paid everybody here but you. They're just
you still can. There's still time.
So
every man has his price, and mine's really low. So we'll be.
But it was in spicy pictures.
Price of Power. Many jokes can be made.
How powerful.
So thank you guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm rolling in it. Okay, I gotta throw that up there just to play with this function. Michael's got so much money for bribes. Totally. Dude, I'm in the fake plant industry, man. Killing it over here. You have no idea.
It's a big
lot
industry.
of smuggling going on with fake plants.
Big plant.
Okay, so we don't see Vivian laughing. That's a misclick. In the chat. So I'm gonna come back to this. There's something I do. So I'm also a professional life coach. There's something I do with people called the meta question. And it goes a little something like this. What is the question we need to be asking right now? Okay. So someone can always use this meta question on themselves. What is the question I need to be asking myself? And what I want to do is, for everybody in the chat and all the other people on this call, author friends, you as well, think about that question, because if you get a good question, you can pop it in anytime. Okay. And I might we'll all answer it. But I have some questions to get into, if not. But I'd love to get some introductions. And yes, Z.B.
Okay, before we do introductions, my meta question, I already have it. Where can we buy your books?
Oh, gosh.
Is it
All right.
Amazon and directly from you?
Amazon,
That's
yeah.
the question we need to ask
KDP,
ourselves.
Ebook, Kindle Unlimited, paperback and hardback, they're all available on Amazon. If you want a hardcover, I would actually suggest reaching out to me on my social media, Michael Michel author. That's probably the best. I don't know what Amazon's deal is, but they're having supply line issues. Appreciate it,
I
guys.
have to give Z.B props, because he went with a real constructive question. I was going to be like, I think the question we should be asking is, should we be asking ourselves, is there a question? Like, just kind of digging the
What
meta
do you mean
deeper.
by believe?
Yeah, because that's where my mind goes. So props to you, Z.B, for being like, yeah, let's keep this podcast, to a higher level of intelligence.
Yeah, we got to boost Michael up now so we can betray him later.
Ooh, very grimdark of us.
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're gonna get there for sure. I mean, I'm expecting the betrayals. I'm on the lookout, dude. Actually, it's all part of my plan. I got traps set for you. The meta question was just the first piece of it. Watch out. So introductions, go around. Hit me with. Obviously, you don't really need to say your names, but you could reiterate it for people who maybe can't see. Look at that. And what you write, or where we can find you on socials, if you review, whatever you want to shout out for yourselves. And also, what is your book of the year so far? So Michael Michel, I already introduced myself ad nauseum. I write Grimdark, Dreams of Dust and Steel. And so far, my book of the year is Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. Damn.
Good
I read that faster than anything I've read since I read Red Rising, and I hadn't read anything that fast for like 15, 20 years. So, damn good book. Looking forward to King of Thorns this week.
I burned through the whole series back to back last month. It absolutely holds up. Like it's competing for best read of the year.
Yeah, I like King the most. I thought King I just could not put down. Yeah.
The mind fuckery in that one was really good.
Yeah. I don't mind going next. I'm Z.B. Steele. I'm a Grimdark author. I have Song of the Damned out. This is the prequel novella, An Inkling of Flame. And then Whispers of the Storm. It's the main novel. They're backwards narratives like Name of the Wind or Blood Song. The most common comparison I get is Name of the Wind meets Abercrombie, which, I say it myself a lot so I can get sales and it makes me feel good. But that's the quick pitch. It's on Amazon. You can buy direct from me if you hit me up on socials, and that's the pitch.
I really feel like we need to prank Noah somehow. Like,
Yeah, where'd he go?
this is our moment to set something up. Obviously, we're not going to be doing that. That's not what this podcast is about. But if the opportunity arises, we need to do something to put him in his place.
I don't know, dude. I miss his
Screaming
smoke.
from his
I want to keep
car.
him around.
Bro's already in a car. Don't kick a man while he's down. That's what I say. He's in his place.
Yeah, we're gonna
Fair
find out
enough.
later. His car exploded. He died, and we were immediately talking bad about it.
Grimdark indeed, my friend. What's
No one
your
knows
book
that
of the
I
year
love
so far, Zach?
Yeah. Well, I should say that Noah knew that I loved him because, as I said, his car probably exploded.
He's a Russian asset. We all knew it.
This is why Evan's here.
Fuck,
He's like,
Noah.
the job's done.
Or he's been deported.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
We'll get him back in here eventually. Zach, what's your favorite book of the year?
Oh, right. I forgot that because I don't normally listen to Michael. Other than A Graveyard for Heroes, Hyperion.
Nice.
Yeah, rocked my
Kick-ass book.
world.
Really good.
Yeah. I know people talk about the Priest's Tale a lot, but man, the Poet's Tale had me up till 4 a.m.
Damn. Yeah,
Sorry.
that book is that's a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, you're alive.
No, I said technical difficulties here at the craft district. The Wi-Fi,
He's door dashing on
the
this.
5G.
I'm also going to be honest. I just noticed he was in the waiting room, and I added him a minute and a half ago, maybe two. So
No, you're good. You're good.
my bad.
You're good.
Noah, why don't you go next while between dashes?
While everything's working. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Noah. I'm a. Oh, am I cutting out? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm a small-time bookstagrammer. Just I focus on indie stuff reviewing, like to hype those guys up. I also read some trad stuff, mainly complain about that. And yeah, that is what. No offense, Evan. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm on Instagram mostly.
He's real
post-
big on romantasy. Like when you have a good romantasy rec, you tell Noah, he will do a whole in-depth thing. It's his genre of choice.
Look, I am pretty
Dude.
nice. I'm very nice. I just wear backwards hats. People assume I'm mean about romantasy. I'm not that mean about it. Not that mean about it. I go light, but yes, I read Michael's book pretty early on into my Instagram days, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Indy's sick. So yeah, I just started reading more of that. So yeah, Sarah J. Maas live stream incoming. That would not go over well.
Aw, cool nerds. Oh, stop.
Arrogant.
I always tell my daughter, just quick aside here. She's like, oh, it's not, it's like rough in school, like it's not cool to be nerd. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Back when I was in high school and middle school, it was, you think it's not cool now. Like kids openly like Harry Potter. Like I remember having Animorph books. Remember those Animorph books, like kid turning into a horse on the cover? I had Animorph books, and I remember getting surrounded when I was in 6th grade. They saw it in my locker. I got surrounded by a gang of 8th graders, and they were like in my face, and they're like, that shit's gay. Don't read it anymore. And I was like, I'll never read it again. And I didn't. And I'll be honest, that's harsh, but I'm probably glad I didn't keep reading Animorphs.
You should reclaim Animorphs, man. Start reading it again.
Yeah, prove the bullies wrong.
Yeah.
Stick to your convictions.
I do like when people turn it.
That was a different time.
Take it back.
Maybe my next project. I'll throw some Animorphs in. Evan, go for it, man.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Evan Leikam. I'm the author of Angie Kills A King, which came out with Tor Books on May 13th. And it's the first book in a trilogy called the Rising Tide Trilogy. It's about a young woman who murders a king and then runs away and gets quickly captured by a very old bounty hunter who's part of a bounty hunting club, I guess, group, a faction called the Menagerie. And they've been together for a long time, solving crimes for the state. But they usually capture people together. But there's only the one person that captured Angie, and then Angie's being drugged back to the city to answer for her crimes and be publicly tortured and executed. So she doesn't really want to go, and the Hawk really wants to get her there because of the huge bounty on her head. So kind of a road trip story, but it's also laying the groundwork for a much bigger high epic fantasy type trilogy, which I'm working on book 2 right now. It's a lot. Book 2 is so rough, man. Like my editor was like, hey, just so you know, like I'm happy to push it back a little bit because I know book 2 can be rough. And I was like, I'm gonna be totally fine. And man, yeah, book 2, I've got the first draft done. I'm working on the revisions that I got back from my editor right now for the second draft. And it's, I got to the end. So, Evan, I met you in Detroit with Joe Abercrombie. You two were so good together. Thank you. You told me to put my face out there to help with my marketing, which I'm really going to take to heart. Yes, put your face on the internet. It's scary. But I don't know. I only get like the occasional "you're ugly" comment, which I mean, I get those in real life too. Right? Yeah, like I don't know. I've gotten those out at bars. So,
yeah, that's just normal life. Right?
Yeah, like it's not a big deal. But yeah,
I have to point out, for those of you who have not yet read Angie Kills a King, Angie Kills a King does something that I have yet to see in any other book anywhere, which is pretty amazing, is that the character is helpless the entire time and yet somehow retain so much agency. I've actually given
Thanks,
a
Andy.
number of like presentations since I read it, and I have referred to it as a really good example of a powerless character. She literally spends, I think, the first 80% of the book in handcuffs, but every chance she gets to fight back or to take control of the situation, she fails terribly again and again and again, but she keeps having agency. So if you want a really good example of a character who is powerless but has agency, whether you're a reader and wants a cool experience or you're a writer and trying to figure out what agency even looks like, Angie Kills a King is a really, really good example of that.
Thanks a lot, Andy. Yeah, it was kind of a challenge for sure. I wanted to do a lot of the exposition and world building through dialogue, and I thought that would be a fun thing to do and keep the book moving pretty quickly. We could arrange, but yeah, it was kind of rough because a captor realistically wouldn't really be like, oh, and as you know, this is the way the world is, Angie, or the reader. I couldn't really do a lot of that without it. It would have seemed kind of unnatural and unrealistic to have those. So I had to get kind of creative with it. And as a result, I mean, like, I'm really, really proud of this book. I'm stoked about it, and I'm really glad that it's out and people are enjoying it. I do think that it is a little bit on the thin side, world building wise, and that's another thing that I'm trying to slow down a little bit with the second book. And I've got a lot more opportunities where we've got, like, Angie's not in handcuffs, she's with new people, there's a whole larger cast that knows more about the world than she does, so we can kind of get more of that kind of like, okay, so now that we've taken that big giant deep breath, we can kind of like let it out now in the second book and kind of explore some other stuff. So that's really cool. And like having a two-hander book like that was really fun to write with those particular characters. But yeah, there were some parts where I was like, should I just do an info dump here? Like, should I just have like an internal dialogue thing where Angie's just like, of course, this is the way all of these things work. But I don't know. Those parts of books are always kind of boring to me, even though they're informative.
I think you really. Oh, there it is. Okay, so my Discord was talking about your book, and they were making a comparison to 310 to Yuma. I was like, that sounds great. Also, I mean, whether it's Western-y or not, I think Grimdark tends to have a more gritty, like I've often said, the muddy boot heel feel of a Western, right?
Yeah.
I tend to see that in most Grimdark, and I honestly love it. I fucking love Westerns too. So when someone gives me a comparison for like a Western, which is almost never, I mean, you get them all the time for this, apparently, the 310 to you, won't you say? Just cherish it, right?
No, totally. I'm happy with it. And I think going, taking that a little, just having it be like a flavor thrown into it. I mean, it is like the world that I'm building it's not post-industrial, but it's like they're just figuring it out. Kind of like Age of Madness, like Abercrombie's Age of Madness, where they're like, oh, we can use machines to use this stuff. And, like textile mills are now, like, they're figuring out ways to do this that, are still terrible and kill a bunch of people because they're mismanaged and like they're just figuring it out. But like that, a lot of Westerns kind of take place around there too, like that kind of like mid to late 19th century kind of thing. And I also, thanks, author MS Lan. But I also, like, I incorporated a little bit of like the gunslinger in there, which is that's got a Western feel to it too. Or like Logan, the dynamic between like Arya and the Hound, or Joel and Ellie, or Kratos and Atreus. I just really like that dynamic of like a young person and an old person, and then also the idea that an older person is not automatically wiser because they're much older, and the younger person is not necessarily 100% naive just because they're younger either. Like, that's a really cool thing to explore with characters. So yeah, I'm really proud of it. I'm stoked about it. The release has been great. And then for my favorite book of the year so far, man, guys, I really haven't been reading that much lately because I've just been like so deep into these edits, and I've just finished a novella that's on submission right now too. But I'm just about to finish Nat Cassidy's When the Wolf Comes Home. the horror book, which is excellent. It's an awesome horror novel. It's doing a lot of really different things. I thought it was going to go one way, and it like went a way that I didn't even think anyone would ever write, like ever. It's so cool. I also finished up. I'm reading a lot of horror. Like I read Robert McCammon's Swan Song recently. I really liked that a lot. It was long. It was so
really
long. Yeah, but I think I made a review video for it, and I think I did enjoy it a little bit more than The Stand, I think, like character wise, but I think The Stand just has like that Stephen King zhuzh to it. But yeah, like I haven't really been. I just finished up the first book in Lloyd Alexander's Prydain Chronicles, because I'm kind of starting to pivot my page a little bit to reading like a lot like older stuff, like stuff from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Just because, like, I don't know, like I don't really want to like review like. Yeah, they're cool. Like they're really cool.
I was like, I know that. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Gurgi rocks.
Yeah. Like it's. I think I'm going to continue with. They're really short books. I read the first one pretty quick. I was thinking about maybe going through Chronicles of Narnia again too, because I haven't read those since I was like, I don't know, 11 or 12, and then maybe doing like a nice chunky review on Chronicles of Narnia. Because like C.S. Lewis is dead. I don't really care. Yeah, like I reread The Magician's Nephew recently, and I was just like, God damn, this is so cool. Good. Like The Magician's Nephew is so awesome. It's so trippy and like dark. Especially compared to the rest of them. Weird. Yeah,
I skipped. Well, my oldest daughter, we started reading that series. I skipped that one because she's like
dark.
6. I was like, she's not gonna get this. But yeah, that like one is weird.
Like that one, like weird portal world where like everything is just like this bloody dusk red color, and like everything's like frozen and shit. It's just like, whoa, C.S. Lewis, because I think he wrote that book after the original 6 had come out, right? Is that right? Am I wrong about that? I think I'm right about that. I'm just gonna say I'm right about that.
Yes, Lewis blank expressions like, all through.
Yeah, but yeah, I do want to kind of pivot my page. I want to start reading some more like Fitz Lieber, some Michael Moorcock. Just like
I just picked him up for my birthday.
Hey, cool! Oh, you got the Elric stuff, yeah. Maybe some like Paul Anderson or some Fred Saberhagen and some Edgar Rice Burroughs, and just kind of like really digging around into. And I might move into like the 80s or like, but I just don't want to like review like, I don't know, people that are on like the same publisher as me and stuff, and like I don't know, it just feels weird.
Yeah,
to be doing that. I don't know, maybe it's fine.
It's a precarious position to be in, I imagine.
But I do want to read that older stuff because I feel like with fantasy books, with the genre that we write in, I think that some stuff gets like kind of picked up and then put down, and then it's like a cyclical kind of thing sometimes with certain tropes. Like a really good example for that would be like Fafhrd and Gray Mauser, like Fitz Lieber's stuff, compared to like Royce and Hadrian from Michael Sullivan's Rhyria stuff. Like if you had never read Fitz Lieber, you wouldn't know. But like, yeah, that's lifted right out of there. Or like Geralt of Rivia, ripped from Elric of Melniboné, or even Drizzt Stewart, and
Elric.
You know, like this long silver hair. Even one of my characters has long silver hair. So we're just like borrowing shit from like this almost like forgotten fantasy time.
I mean, that's a goated trope. That's one of the best tropes in the genre.
Yeah,
the really white-haired badass,
or like Druss the Legend, like David Gemmel's stuff. You know,
something about guys with light hair. Light hair works really well.
You would know.
Yeah, like
who's the guy from Malazan?
Blonde, silver, whatever you know.
Anamander Rake. You're thinking of Anamander Rake.
Oh, Anamander. Yeah, that is awesome.
Dude, right? Everyone's got silver hair. It's wild. Oh man, I ripped off so much stuff. I ripped off Brian McClellan, like his stuff from Powder Mage, like the way that gunpowder is utilized. And I met Brian McClellan at one of my signings in Utah, and I signed my book for him. And I was like, "Hey, sorry, I ripped off your ideas." I didn't even think about it like while I was writing it until like they told me I was meeting with him, and I was like, Powder Mage. Oh shit. Powder Mage. I like totally stole that. Whatever, that's fine. He didn't care.
I stole Brienne of Tarth. I mean,
hey, dude, if there's a character to steal, Brienne is Brienne's one of my top characters in everything in any book. Hell yeah,
she's a baller.
Yeah, it froze up. I want to see the new cover. Can you hold that up again? The new cover.
Yeah. See if I can get the whole shebang.
I love
That's
that.
good.
There's
It
Brienne.
reminds me of like a Lycanius kind of thing with like all that white, but with
Oh,
the
yeah.
black that's really standing out. That looks really good.
There was a big
And then here's
big talk about that in my comments on one of my videos about the Lycanius trilogy and these books.
With the big circles.
Yep.
Looks good though. It looks
well,
great.
speaking
It's
of
really
ripping
good.
off, the Lycanius trilogy are my favorite covers pretty much of all time. So
They're really good.
know,
They're really, really
I-
good.
I read the first
did-
one and I hated it, and then I bought the second one anyways because the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Stop it.
kind of
Jack, I
like
agree with you. I don't hate it, but I just didn't
Oh
see
my
it. I didn't
gosh.
understand where the
it's
hype
just
was
the worst
coming
version
from.
of Brandon Sanderson, that first book.
Oh, stop it! Stop it!
I will say,
Stop
let me
it.
extend an olive branch. Two things: the ending of Lycanius is fucking awesome. It's really,
Yes.
really, really good.
Yes.
And then Islington came out swinging with the Will of the Many. Like
That's very high on my
that book is
TBR.
incredible.
I've heard nothing but people raving about
Stop!
that.
Get out of this live and go start that book, man. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like Will of the Many
And
is great.
if you're a fan of Lycanius, the end of the Willamette is like very.
Oh my god! Don't even
I
bring it
like
up here. Like
It's so good.
I'm
Go
so
read it.
annoyed. It's only the last page. I was like, James,
I know.
Islington,
I did-
what are you doing, man?
I
like-
had no idea it was going there. Then he went there. I was like,
Uh,
I should have known this was going to happen.
I wanted to throw my book out the window. I was like, I can't believe I paid $28 for this. This is ridiculous. I had to wait like 2 years for this. Oh, so cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
still have Andy,
did we get
right?
everybody on the introductions?
No, we
Oh,
don't have
Andy.
Andy.
Hi, I'm Andy.
All right. Well, that's good.
We've
Let's just
spent
continue on.
we've spent half an hour on introductions.
I want to hear more about Andy.
You see my name, you see what I write, you see my books behind me. We're good. Let's
He's
move
so
on.
cool and understated. Wow. I yapped for so
Yeah,
long,
Andy-
Andy.
Andy's
You made
super
me look like a
understated.
dick. Dang. Cool. What are we talking about?
All right.
I want
So,
to talk about
okay.
Andy.
Do you guys want one of my questions?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Evan's lukewarm on it, but
Oh, I
I'm going to
said
do it
sure.
anyway.
Yes. Please. Give me it.
Hey, I'm powered. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. You're good.
Spit on me.
Let's see. So we all write fantasy, which in some cases, one might think we're just like masters of escapism, right? We just can't be in reality. So my
Oh, really?
question is, if reality wasn't real, right? So whether it's like the Buddhist samsara or we're in a simulation, like this life and reality is an illusion. What's your take? Good or bad?
I don't
Is this a
care.
good thing or a bad thing?
I don't
It's
care.
definitely a good thing.
Pizza
The
tastes
fact there's
good.
even hesitation. When they wake up in the Matrix and there's just like a dark room with pods where they're getting milked or whatever is going on over there, you don't want that.
I think I want to interject. I think the original script was that they were getting like milked or whatever, but then
Oh,
they
God.
switched it to the battery thing because it would
That's
like play
fucking
better
great.
with audiences. Yeah, they were like, that's really fucking weird, you guys. Like, we don't do a battery or
They wanted
something.
it to be like computer RAM, where like the people were processors, which also makes more sense than being batteries, because that
Yeah,
just
humans
doesn't
would
make
be
any sense at
horrible
all.
batteries. You got to feed them like all the time. Yeah,
Yeah, entropic
But
levels. what are we
processors.
doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, what's the
Uh,
ratio? Like energy in versus energy out. Like they have tubes going in
Bad.
to like feed
Oh,
them
it's
enough
abysmal.
to feed
It's
them
not good.
back. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going back
It's
to
a
milking.
horrible
I think that
battery.
might be the thing.
So like your question, Michael, was like, is it a good or a bad thing if we're living in a simulation?
Or whatever you want to call it. Just that reality isn't real. It's not
I
necessarily
feel
real.
I kind of like for me personally, I kind of like relate it to like whether or not we're on a flat Earth. Like I just really don't. It doesn't matter. Like 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 if I found out it was a simulation, I'd still have to write books and like still have to feed my cat,
Yeah.
my simulation cat. So like I don't know.
The dishes still got to get done.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, probably kind of cool. It'd be kind of liberating. Like, hey, no, this is real. You know,
So it's good.
It might need a split.
I stopped
Don't
smoking
worry
weed
about
because
what
it
I'm
makes
doing
me
it, Mike.
anxious.
Don't worry about what I'm doing. in
It
my car.
does. Okay, hold on.
We-
I got to pause that there. Evan said stop smoking weed because it makes him anxious. People think weed somehow helps anxiety, which is a total misunderstanding. It does not.
No.
In fact, over time, it makes it worse. It makes anxiety worse.
I did have like
and
a weed
also,
resurgence.
I cut it out when I started writing books.
Yeah, I don't want to
fucked
try
me
it.
the next day, get me fuzzy. I was like, it was like cottony a little bit. Had to cut it. Way more productive. If you're an author out there and smoking weed, my suggestion is reconsider.
Let's get
Let's
get Adrian back in here. Adrian, talk about mushroom blues with us, dude.
I know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I had a weed renaissance during the pandemic, like in the early stages of COVID, because I was like, well, it's not
of course.
really paranoia if the world's actually ending. So, like, but then
it's real.
Things get that's what happens when I smoke weed. Everything just gets like too real. But I'm hoping to like pick it back up and like if I become like a grizzled like road wizard in like my 50s or 60s, and like start smoking weed in like my garage or something.
I love the idea of like planning to pick back up weed. You're like,
I remember liking it. Like it was cool.
It's 20-year plan.
Yeah, like when I'm like 65 and I've got a bunch of like plants and LPs and like VHS tapes and like this weird garage or something, and I can just sit out there and I'll pick it back up.
You'll be able to get it at 7-Eleven then too, so it'll work out.
Where do you guys? I'm in Oregon. Where?
Yes, I'm Olympia, Washington.
Okay, so you're in the same. It's too strong here, man. They need to make it illegal again. Like it's just like, damn, dude, it's just too much. Where are you guys?
You're looking for out of state stuff.
Michael, where do you live? You don't have to dox yourself. I'm just curious what state you're in.
I live in Bend, Oregon.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's true. We talked about that.
We chatted about that.
Yeah. I saw your book at Big Story over there.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, that story.
The new version or the old one? The new one's in there, but
I think they had two versions. One was like a little bit bigger than another one. Is that what it was? It was like it wasn't like way bigger or way smaller or anything, but I thought I saw two different ones in there.
The old one is bigger, Michael. The old one is bigger. Yes, the hardcover compared to the paperback. So if you have paperbacks in there, I literally have them sitting right next to each other on the shelf. I'd show you, but
your car shelf. Show us your car. Your car shelf. Bro.
Yeah, my trunk.
Noah, what's been going on in your life lately, buddy? You got your bookshelf in the car?
Yeah,
you can tell us.
Rough. Too many kids at home, man. Back to that question. I don't want it to be I have kids. I can't have it be a simulation. Then it's all for. Then what's
Expand
it all
on
for?
that. We still have fun with them, right? You still like if the love is simulated, it's still love.
And you're like,
that's
simulation.
The
I think to Noah's
non-fun
point,
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to Noah's point, I got shit on like quite literally multiple times, just sprayed. If that was for nothing, what are we doing?
Can we back up just like a foot real quick? When did you get? What do you mean shit on?
She had a diaper rash, so we did a diaper-free weekend, and it was a fucking cannon.
Ooh, diaper-free weekends, dude. Were you potty trained? The naked potty training?
Dude, no, she was like 3 or 6 months or something.
Oh,
was diaper-free weekend like a challenge or something, or like a?
No, she had a rash, so we just had to,
I don't know.
Let her run free, put garbage bags on everything, and that was it.
Gotta get the butt paste, baby.
Wait, Andy, do you have kids too?
Some kind of low-hanging basket?
They're young adults now.
I need to get a kid. I'm the only one here without a kid. Everyone's like, "Don't do it, man."
It's cool. It's cool, but
my sister just came up to visit in Portland, and she brought her. She has a 1.5-year-old, my nephew, and I like every time I'm around that kid, I'm like, "Oh my god, I want one of these." Oh my god, this is so cool. But then she came over with him after we got done with like a trip we went on. They came over to my apartment. And not a one kid has been in my apartment my entire time I've had it, and like it's not set up for kids like at all. And like he comes in, and like within like 3 minutes of him being here, all of my stuff was like all over the floor, and like his parents are like so exhausted. Yeah, and I was like, all right, like maybe wait a little bit.
That's what it's like. That's what it's like.
Kids are the best argument for and against kids.
That's
straight
amazing. That's amazing.
It is gonna be the highs of your life and just the absolute lows of your life as
so
well.
Funny. I love that phrase so much. That's so succinct. But like,
well said, Andy. Well said. That's why I brought you here. So you can
Just for
really
that
write
one
books.
nugget of
take what we
wisdom.
say.
Thank you. I've done my part.
My dad used to say whenever I'd break something, invariably, like every couple of weeks, I'd break something. Or I have a twin brother, and we were just like little terrors. And my dad used to have this mantra that was, "When you have kids, it's all you have." You just don't
That's
get
true.
stuff anymore.
Yeah,
Unless you have an office and
your
you
day
can
is
lock it.
essentially
You
not
have a
your
lock
own.
on your office.
Yeah,
Unless you live in a
your
car.
day is pretty much not your own until they go to sleep. You were theirs.
Damn. Yeah,
That's
I don't know
true.
if I'm
That's true.
responsible enough for that yet. Y'all are so cool and like responsible.
None of
growing
us
up-
are.
growing up
None of us
You
are.
men.
said published by Tor and like Barnes and Nobles and stuff. Trying to gas us up. That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
I'm sufficiently gassed. Don't worry. It's going great.
Okay, anybody want another question? Or also, if you're in the chat and you've got an actual coherent question, there were a couple that I was like, do not.
I like your
understand what that
spacey
means.
questions, Michael. Let's hit another
All
one.
right, here's a question for you,
Go on.
Michael. So I've been obsessing
Okay.
about the book that I'm working on right now. The story I've been trying to figure out the story to boil everything down to one sort of emotional core. What is the emotional core of like the Price of Power? What is the emotional resonance that connects you to the story that makes you want to write it beyond telling a fun adventure?
Love that.
Oh, this is do you want the full? I'll give you a fucking story. Okay. So I was diagnosed with OCD back in December. Okay. And I had long wondered, I'm like, how am I able to write books? Because there's got to be something out of whack for me to be able to sit down, write a book, rewrite it, right? And the night before I relaunched The Price of Power, there was this like weird thing that happened where the book's like theme, the cost of power and like sacrifice lined up with the way my OCD works, which I have struggled with this idea with OCD where if I become too sexual, well,
Nice.
did anybody catch that? I definitely
Great,
just said
great.
I mean,
That's an awesome start to the story.
well,
Clearly,
the
the
second
Price of
story
Power
took a
is
turn.
going to degenerate into one of those harem stories.
Go
Yeah.
Oh, I
on.
see you
So
getting
there-
ready.
Wow. Successful. Okay. So if I become too successful, then someone I love will die, or I'll die early. Like I'll be successful for 15 years, but then I'll die in a car accident.
The other shoe will
Or,
drop.
you know, something will occur. And that is how this weird, like, you know, karmic rebalancing where I can't be too happy or too successful or else bad things will occur. And it's like this internal limiting belief that is at the core because I love being an author so much. It's like the most important thing to me besides, you know, wife, daughter, family. And so those two things sit together inside. And so it makes sense that as my desire increases for any one of them, the other one will be like, wait a second, what if this, right? There's only room for this much happiness. And so the whole theme of The Price of Power, I realized, has been me funneling this core self-limiting belief into my books. The idea of the price of power, that there is a rebalancing, that there's going to, if something amazing happens, it will be bitter, right? If there's loss, there will be redemption. If there's grief, there will be, you know, triumph. It's just this idea that has played out. And I realized it on the evening of the relaunch on April Fool's, believe it or not.
Wow.
I really like that. That's really awesome, Michael. I dig it.
Thank you.
It's always nice to learn about the emotional core of the story because as I was writing Darkblade, or as I was rewriting Darkblade to launch it, I came to understand that it was about my journey as a stepfather. And so leaning into that, it's sunk my teeth more into that story. Or I was talking with Travis Baldry at a retreat recently, and I asked him about legends and lattes, or, you know, just talking with other people and just trying to understand what drives them to tell that story, because it's not about the story. The story is the window dressing. And it's that emotional nugget at the core that's kind of hidden behind a few lines here and there throughout the book. But it all comes down to that. And that's what I think I latch onto. And I think most readers latch onto that thing when, even though we don't realize it, when we get to that moment, we see the author, and that truth of the author is what we connect to. And the rest of the story is just leading up to that moment or building around that moment or showcasing all the other stuff. But it's just those 2 or 3 moments in any book that there's this truth, not about humanity or the world. We're not talking big philosophy. We're talking about one person's truth revealed. And that's when we connect with an author. And so the more we see kind of their truth come through their stories, it's why we love every series an author has written, is because we see more truth in them in every story, or more of their truth in that. And so I love learning about these nuggets at the core of people.
100%. Absolutely correct. I'm curious to hear what you guys think of this, but for the last few years, I have felt like anytime someone asks me for a writing tip or advice and says what's the best thing I can do to make myself a better writer, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, go through, personal development courses or go out in nature, something, whatever helps you discover who you are. Because I think there's a reason that a lot of authors don't publish their book or find success until later. It's kind of an old man's game or old woman's game or old person's game. And I think it's because you have to really know yourself to write. That's that the authentic self translates onto the page with your characters. Every character is going to have even the craziest fucking characters, are going to have some small facet of who we are as a person in there. Or at least not who we are as a person, but an experience, the experience we've had of someone. Okay. And so I think any authors listening, self-development, journal, hike, go to a therapist. I don't fucking know. Whatever your flavor of finding yourself is, it is definitely going to behoove you to do it. The writing will flow. I wanted to be a writer forever. And then it wasn't until I went through coaching, which is essentially a lot of it is kind of spirituality based stuff. Because you're a better coach when you don't exist in a coaching conversation and you're just there for the other person. That allowed me to write the characters I needed to make the book a reality.
Yeah, I dig that.
Beautifully said.
This is also deep.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I 100% agree. I don't think that I would have been able to put out anything even remotely resembling the whatever quality my first book is when I was 22, 23. I just hadn't had enough life experience to articulate what I was trying to articulate. I probably could have written something else, but I don't know if it would have hit the same, And
have you guys read you guys ever gone back and read something that you wrote as a kid?
I didn't really start writing till I was in my late 20s, but I read some of that stuff, and it's just very I was just trying to put scenes together. I was just just basically copying stuff that I had already, I would write a scene without any notion of where it was going, or just just to do it. I had a scene, one of the first things I ever put down was a scene where a group of warriors walked into some old abandoned church, and there was some really powerful guy sitting on the throne, and he was he just had some evil plan, and it was just nothing
Wheel of
there. It's just, it kind of did read the prologue for what would it have been, Great Hunt, or maybe Shadow? No, Min's in there. Shadow of the Rising.
I Have the World. Oh, prologue.
I think the Great Hunt prologue, where all of the dark friends are in that ballroom together, or whatever that is.
Oh, they're all hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. It is a really good prologue, but I think that and I've written, or I should say, gotten to the end of a few different books before I'd written Angie Kills a King, and one in particular that I spent a lot of time on. I remember reading back through it last year, and it's funny that you brought all this up, because I remember thinking what is this even about? like what am I even talking? Like what's going on here? Like what? And not even about in like a big giant thematic sense, but like what is up with this character? Like what does he want? Like what is he afraid of? Like what's the conflict here? He's just like going from one room to another one, like just looking at shit like that's happening. And there's a big difference between like just like things happening and then like a series of events happening for a reason, and then culminating and them being interwoven together. Like it's, and I don't know, it's kind of hard. Branson,
y'all ever get nervous that like, well, okay, so Evan, you might be experiencing this on book 2. Zach, same thing. Maybe not. Andy, you're on book 750 fucking 6.
Jesus,
I don't know if you've experienced this.
God.
You're probably like, I wish I'd experienced that again.
Yeah, and he doesn't even remember. Like,
and if he does, it's probably scary murder stuff. But there's this like experience in book 2 where you start to go, oh shit, am I keeping this character's like motivational thread correct or accurate? And then you go look at book 3 and you go, oh shit, what about book 3? What am I going to do? What if they like run out of character? Like there's like that worry. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. Like I don't know how else to say it. It's like run out of
I feel like my characters kind of like just jump off the page a little bit, where they are who they are, But what I did have was, and you guys might have had this too, when I started writing the second book that I ever wrote, you're comparing it to the first book that you wrote that you spent thousands of hours editing and brainstorming and whatever. So you're looking at the first draft like, wow, this is kind of ass. And actually, I suck. Did you guys ever have that?
I feel like that all the time. Like, just no matter
I
what.
feel that for you guys.
Yeah.
Your books.
Yeah, I mean, like I think some days I think it's like for me personally, like I mean, like I look at the work I'm doing sometimes, and like especially when it's a book that hasn't, like there's like that kind of like last round of edits where you can see everything pretty clearly in your head, which is really nice. But everything up until that is you're kind of waiting around in like soup for a little bit, and like you're getting glimpses into like what could be like a real kind of final result and what's actually going to click. But in like, I mean, I do have moments of clarity, which is really nice, but when those moments are not anywhere near me, it can get a little bit like daunting for sure. But what I try to remember is like, hey man, like you already did this once and it turned out all right. And like I just finished a novella that my agent agreed to put on submission, which is like a huge thing because my agent is like very blunt and like will tell me if a book sucks for sure. So he liked it a lot, and that was like really, I finished it while I was on tour, and that was like a really big kind of moment for me where I was like, oh my god, I can do this twice in a row. That means I can do it 3 times in a row. So now what I'm looking at these like half finished scenes that like they're contradicting stuff that came before is going to come after, or they're like Michael was talking about, like with character consistency and all of these different things where like I feel like in a draft you're like constantly in this state of like fight or flight, like worry of just kind of like, is this the right word, is this the right sentence, is this the right paragraph, is this the right scene? But yeah, you just keep like hammering away at it. If there's a better way to do it other than just you have to just forge ahead, and just trust the process. Like just trust that like you got it there before, you can get it there again. It
feels kind of like you're walking like on a road at night and you're just like, God, I fucking hope the sun comes up sometime.
It will. 24 hours, baby, or 12 hours, baby.
I'm in kind of this weird space. So I have completed, we're going to call it 50 books. It's more, but we're calling it 50 because that's a nice round number, right? Are they all amazing? No. Are there enough good ones that I can say I can write? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm always I'm always like right now I am sucking hard at what I'm doing because I'm trying a brand new writing style. But the book that I was just working on right up until last week, I just finished it. There were so many moments in there that I was like, I don't know what's coming next. And there is this fear not that I'm not going to get to the cool thing, because I've kind of built into my head this voice that says, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know the cool thing, but when the time comes, the cool thing will not manifest. It will have come to me.
Sure.
But I'm not there yet. So this in between is this state of heightened anxiety. And that's where I kind of lose my shit a bit, because I don't know what I need to do. I know what I need to do is going to occur to me because it has happened 150 plus times, multiple times in every book. But it's in that middle stage where I'm just kind of like anxious, so that it's just kind of finding ways to distract myself. I read, I watch TV, I go for a walk if I'm really nervous. Without fail, every single time, the cool thing comes. So
it's so refreshing to hear from someone who's written 50 fucking books. Thank you, Andy.
It's like, terrible.
Seriously, I have to tell you, I just sounded pretty confident just now, but I wasn't, and I just really appreciate that. I have to tell you, I really appreciate that.
It is. I'm telling you, this author thing that we do is bullshitting our way to a moment of genius again and again and again, whether or not it's actually genius. But it is just this kind of, I'm just gonna move forward. And so this is why authors have these rituals where you just start doing the thing, right? I've been thinking about this because it was one thought of writing into my character. I have to start writing on the quarter hour. I have to have my playlist. I have to have done the things that I need to do. And it's all just kind of these ways of saying, all right, now I am in this little box. I can't escape my box. Yeah, thank you. I'm in this box where I have no choice but to write. This first word is going to be absolutely garbage, but you start doing it anyway, and then before you know it, you have bullshitted your way to a moment of genius or a moment of truth, or a moment of, oh, this is a really cool thing. And so you get better at trusting the process, but it doesn't become any less anxiety inducing in the between the start and the arriving at the moment of genius. So
can I add a little bit on top of that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you
No,
were.
I was going to say you just get better at just kind of grinning and bearing it.
I remember there's a I was reading something that Michael Crichton, I think he was in an interview or he wrote it in some journal or something, but he said something to the effect of every time, and Michael Crichton wrote 30 some odd books or something. He wrote a bunch, and a lot of them were really successful. And he said, every time I start a new book, I think, this is the hardest one I've written, and the one before it was the easiest one I've written, and I wish I was still writing the one before it. And then when he moves on to the next one, he's like, God, this is the hardest one I've written. The one I just wrote was so much easier than this. And he's just kind of constantly in that cycle, which I just thought was so refreshing to hear. Michael Crichton, he wrote some of the bangerest books. He wrote fucking Jurassic Park.
That probably applies to writing, where it's the hardest stage of parenthood is whatever one you're in.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Man, you guys are not doing a great job convincing me to have kids.
If anybody's
I gotta say about kids,
they need to step back.
Coming out of parenting feeling like you did a good job is about the same likelihood as a high schooler who plays football going to the NFL. Which is to say,
oh Jesus!
Well, it's funny because you are doing a good job. I imagine you're probably doing.
You don't feel like you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I see what you feeling like you're okay.
Just like you wrote a great book, but sometimes you maybe didn't feel like it while you were doing it, right? It's almost the exact same experience.
Yeah,
it kind of
Andy,
oscillates. Go ahead.
Yeah, it oscillates a fucking ton. Day to day, I would say. But you and Andy both touched on one of the things that I feel like is the most important, and it's my number 2 go-to for new writer advice is it goes hand in hand with the who you truly are kind of thing, getting to know yourself authentically, is trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Trusting yourself. Yeah. All you can do is turn the shit off and trust your way to lie your way to the truth of the book.
The way that I try to think about it is I've enjoyed so many video games, so many books, so many movies, so many TV shows. And if I have the ability to sit and enjoy those things to the degree that I was able to enjoy and understand and resonate with those things, then I trust myself to be able to create that too. Like,
Yeah.
like, and will I get to that? Will I do that? Like, maybe not. But like, what will I create something that's as good as those things that influence me? Maybe not. I don't know. But like, if I can pull something away from those, I can add something in too, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are encouraging me or discouraging me.
You should stop writing, Noah.
Yeah, no, definitely
Exactly.
stop writing.
we're
that's
doing
where I
great.
was at.
Yeah, you're in a car,
That's
man.
where I was at. Okay.
No, it
You
really
see all
is like
these books
Parenthood,
behind
like,
me.
You know,
Focus
people
on
bitch
the
about
much
it, but
less-
it's so good. You need
Focus
to do
on the much less challenging task of raising children.
Yes, that can't be.
I got raising children and reading your guys' books, worrying about you.
Hey, Jesse Pruitt that just chimed in there. Like, I don't know that every author here will say the same thing, but yeah, we all struggle. We all struggle with self-doubt, and it happens constantly. But I mean, Michael, I know that you're a life coach. I don't know. I don't know if you'll take issue with this piece of advice I'm trying to give out, but like, my whole thing is like if I don't feel like doing it, I live by a rule of if it takes less than 5 minutes, you should do it right now. That's what I do with a lot of things that I have going on. And what I do with writing is I give myself an out. I say, all right, man, I know you want to lay around and play video games. I know you want to like hang out with some friends tonight when you don't really need to be, you need to be working. So write one sentence, just one, like literally sit down and just write one sentence. You text more than that during the day. You know, like you can totally sit down at a keyboard and write one sentence. And what it does is it chisels it down to like this very manageable task for myself, where now it's not like this big daunting, like, oh, well, like I was going to go to the grocery store, but I need to write a book. It's like, no, I'm going to go to the grocery store and write a sentence today. And it becomes like this. It's like I don't put it on as much of a pedestal. Like I don't give myself so much pressure of like, oh, that book is due, or like, oh, I got to figure out the whole character arc. Everything I write is fucking great.
One thing that actually helped me a lot.
Sorry.
With, like,
If someone says something funny, I
got
got to add it immediately.
Yeah,
I try not
great.
to while you guys are saying great shit, but that one's funny.
Joe Abercrombie's quote of "It's better to do it than live in fear of it."
Hey,
that
yep,
shit had
that's
me
the one.
rolling for years. That was what I would tell myself to get moving on anything.
That's like literally the best advice I've ever heard from any book. Is it's better to do a thing than to live with the fear of it. Like, oh, you cooked with that one. Almost everything takes 5 minutes, according to my wife.
Hopefully not everything.
You can repave
Hopefully
the
not everything.
driveway. in 5
Not
minutes.
everything.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
going back to self-doubt for a second. Writing this book, it literally had me so fucked up at like 25,000 words. I had to send it to another author and say, please read this and tell me that I'm not the biggest fucking moron on the earth.
Oh no,
Yeah, he did. He's like, this is not bad.
Too.
You know, you can fix this. I was like, oh, good, perfect.
Speaking,
And then I told him he
one
was a
thing,
moron. Quit, but he didn't
It's
quit.
that by the way, that book is really, really good. If
Oh.
people haven't read that book, hold it up
Exactly.
again.
What was it about the
That is-
25,000 word mark that you were having so much trouble with? Like, what was
I
going
really
on?
just don't know. I had like the intro scene stuck in my head for weeks because I was writing a different book when I started that, and just the intro scene was just stuck in my head for days, weeks, whatever. And then so I started writing that, and I started off hot, 4,000 words in a day, and then every other day after that was like kind of dragging my balls through glass, where it just sucked to write.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, when you start hating on yourself and the self-doubt and everything, sometimes you just gotta take a breather.
I just write as shitty as I can. Like, I know that sounds like silly, but it's like when I'm in those doldrums and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do next. I literally just like keep my fingers moving and just put down something, man. Like, it's way better than a blank page. I have a different document that I always have up. So I have like my outline, and then I have my main manuscript, and then I keep a separate document that I call a dump. And like, it's just stuff that I'll cut out, or if I want to use it later or whatever. It's like a junk drawer. Yeah. And so sometimes in that dump, though, if I get to a part where I'm like, where I can really feel myself like trying to like almost like impress myself, where I'm getting like I'm dragging my feet and like really, or my balls, as Zach so eloquently put it. like when those moments happen, and they always do, I go into the dump and I just let it go, and I just type out. I don't care about grammar or punctuation. I don't care about anything. I just like let it all go. I let my brain kind of dump, and then I'll kind of like comb through that a little bit, take out what I like, and then throw it in the manuscript and then move on. And it's like it helps a lot with like that kind of. I think I was talking to Nicholas Eames put it like the opposite way. That's why he takes a while between books, is because he was saying that he goes like he's like a surgeon with like every single sentence. And I was like, dude, I would tear my hair out because I keep stumbling and like keep getting to these parts, like what you were at with 25,000 words, and it's just like I don't know what to. I'm not there. Like I don't know what to do. So like I'll just like kill someone or have they'll have sex or like they'll get drunk or like I mean
Hell yeah.
To be fair, I think Nicholas is bald, so it makes sense that he would be tearing his hair out.
He tore his hair out.
That's how he got bald.
That's
That's what happened. Man, I'm jealous.
Okay, this is a
you
great
look
question.
good with the shaved head, man. My head's too lopsided to shave it.
Who,
It
me?
sucks. Yeah, you're pulling it off.
Oh, thanks, man.
Looks good.
like it's his
Thank you.
choice. Are you
Appreciate
pulling
that.
that off? Is that for fun?
Yeah. I just do this for fun, My hair was like so luxurious before that like my wife was like, you gotta shave your head. Too many women are coming at you in public. You gotta stop it. Be bald or something. I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. So, gotta do what the wife wants. I really like this question.
down
Actually,
at the bottom. Yeah.
I had a similar question for the group, which is like hit me, and I also want to say I want to like give Noah some more to like jump in on too. So I've got like a more fun question too for non-writery question that everybody can enjoy as well. But
how does it feel?
This one
being
is like
the second best bookstagrammer. Does that make you feel like you have
Andy,
the hope?
you
of
literally
one day-
you can't have Evan in here and be telling me you're the best bookstagrammer. You can't,
Yo,
he said
I
second
didn't even
best.
say anything.
you can't do
Wait,
that.
didn't Andy also say second best?
He says I'm second best, but I'm like, no, in this scenario, I'm third probably.
I don't
You
even
guys
post
think that I'm the
anymore.
best bookstagrammer?
Look, the only thing that matters is the numbers. That's all they care about, and you know it.
Fair.
Mine are all bots.
I need some
I
bots.
saw one of them comment in the
That's all
thing.
you
I think
saw.
that is a bot. So like
Question.
for writing, like what has been, and maybe some of we got like varying degrees of like 2 books, 1 book, 50 books. Really, there's a big gap there. No 3 to 49. But what has been like your lowest point with writing, like that pivotal moment where your writing, your creativity turned to you and said, the Lannisters send their regards and fucking gotcha, and you were like, not today, and you said, fuck it, I'm like gonna go for it anyway.
Dude, that
Or maybe
one
you didn't
story,
say fuck it and it happened slow.
Take it away.
Yeah. That one author that I sent it to when Whispers was at 25,000 words, if he had said like, this sucks, you're dumb, I may have called it quits. That would have been absolutely heartbreaking.
Damn.
This
I've
is why I don't
accidentally
let anybody
deleted
read
like
anything
40,000 words before. And
Oh,
not been able
Jesus.
to.
kill me.
Yep, it happened with it was thankfully it wasn't anything I was under contract for, which is awesome, but like it was in like 2021 or 2022 I was working on like it was like a sea monster, like high seas, like swashbuckling story, which I might kind of like come back to at some point. But I was living in an apartment with no internet, and I don't know what happened. I wasn't signed into the right shit, or I didn't click the right thing, or I don't know what happened. Typically I do back everything up, and I have everything. I use Microsoft Word, and I have everything backed up through Microsoft and everything. But at that time I didn't, and I went to bed pretty stoked about where everything was going, and it was. Something happened with the file, and it just it got deleted, and it was like over 40,000 words. And I called my ex-girlfriend and was just like sobbing. I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, and I really had to go back at it. It sucked. There's some good stuff in there.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I know Steven Erickson lost like the first half of Memories of Ice.
That makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, that's why he
As
went
I
to
read
Dead
it.
House Gates, because he was like, well, fuck that, I'll come back to it.
Oh yeah, because it does
Yeah.
kind of it goes back and forth, doesn't it? Because like all the stuff
Dude,
in
it's weird.
Seven Cities is yeah. But doesn't House of Chains? Wait, am I right? Is that the fourth one?
Yeah, no, it's book 1 and
Memory
3
Ties
are
is-
essentially sequels.
I
Book
know
2
what I'm
and
saying.
4,
But it switches
yeah,
back and forth,
different
right?
continents.
Yeah.
And then book 5 is also
Yeah.
its own continent place.
But then, like,
I-
people really like Malazan. They're like, "Oh, this is on purpose. This is
Those
how
people
it's
are
supposed
right.
to be."
Oh, yeah, those
see,
people are
there we
right.
go. I knew it.
Michael Michel loves when I talk about Malazan, but it's one of the greatest series ever written.
I've only read the first. I've read
yeah.
I've read Gardens of the Moon 3 times, Dead House Gates twice, and I've gotten to the second book in Memories of Ice twice now. And I haven't been, the first time was I stopped reading because I started posting on TikTok and I needed to like read other stuff. I couldn't just only focus on Malazan. And the second time was when I was running my podcast with my co-host Chad, and he had a little drug issue. And so he had to like bow out of the podcast, and we ironically stopped at literally the exact spot that I had stopped the first time. So it was like, I'll just say, like the velociraptors with like sword arms like came out.
Oh, it's so sick.
I know, and
So
then we
sick.
stopped reading, and I was like, shit.
I don't know. You
So
gotta,
I don't know.
You gotta,
I know.
you
I gotta
gotta
keep
go.
it up. I know. It's so silly. It's
I like
like
to
my
give Malazan
Everett.
shit, but I really like Malazan. I got it.
Dude, if you
What-
guys can make it to book 8, that is one of the greatest books I've ever read.
I heard that Erickson's dad had passed away around book 8, and that's why it got like really deep and like dark.
Yeah, it's like super
deeper and
poetic,
darker.
but like grief heavy and just like
Yeah.
covered in this layer of darkness and stuff. And goddamn, it is a fantastic book.
Is that Toll the Hounds? So-
Toll the Hounds, yeah. Which oddly, that's what I brought to the hospital when my kid was born. So it was very odd to
Whoa.
read, like,
Whoa.
like the beauty of life, and I'd be like, oh fuck, this is just grief and death.
Hey, they're closer than you think, you know.
I will say Crippled God is directly responsible for my world to varying
Really?
degrees.
Whoa.
There is the moment at the end of book 9 when you find out what has to happen.
Thought you were gonna spoil it
In-
for a
in-
second.
No. In Crippled God, you find out a thing, or that in book 9, it becomes the storyline of book 10, and it was just like, what the fuck? Everything that I thought I knew was turned on its head, and it was like this light bulb moment where I was like, oh, I'm doing the same thing. So the whole storyline of the Darkblade's first arc was this whole, exactly what's happening, and all of a sudden it gets flipped over on its head, a la
That's so
Crippled
cool.
God. And it changes. When that happened, it changed the future of the Hunter's world, which changed the future of Heirs of Destiny, which changed the future of the Silent Champions, and it will change every single story that is set in the world after the end of Darkblade. So, like, it was a big moment, kind of like when I watched that episode of Criminal Minds, and the character had to kill to silence the voice of his father in his mind, the crazy person of the week. I was like, whoa, what just happened? It was that light bulb moment that decided what Darkblade was going to be about. And so, like, that one, no matter how much I forget about Malazan, the Chain of Dogs and that Crippled God twist, those are two moments that are burned into my brain.
Well, now I want to read Malazan.
Well, you've read
Just
Chain of
start
Dogs.
tonight.
I
Just
mean,
start tonight.
I'm reading fucking Sun Eater right now. I'm almost done with. I like Sun Eater a lot. I know that I've heard it keeps getting better.
Yes,
the first book,
yes.
the first book it's really good. I'm almost done with it. It took me a while to get through because I was like just scatterbrained on tour and stuff. But like it's very how do I put this? It seems to like kind of just go off on tangents a lot. Like every now and then, it's like, wait, what are we talking about right now? Like,
I always say it's like if so there's like people who follow me know that I give Sun Eater a lot of shit. But
have you finished?
really
or
don't.
are you in book 6 or whatever?
I haven't finished all the way yet. I haven't
Okay.
finished all the way yet. So I'm a Victorian lit major in college,
Oh,
and
cool.
I always say that Sun Eater Hadrian, he feels like if Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice, if he had like a journal,
Kind
So
of into it.
when I
Yes.
read when I read Sun Eater, it feels very Victorian to me, like futuristic Victorian sci-fi with like
Yeah.
this melodrama from these like romance novels. So that's like it
Interesting.
always comes back to that in my head, and that's why Sun Eater I always give it so much shit because it's like people who read it are so amazed by it and the writing style and the prose and like how Christopher writes, and he's a very very good writer. But if you read like Victorian literature, it wouldn't be that amazing to you. It'd just be like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. So that's kind of like my take on
Red
Sun Eater.
Rising?
Like, it's still
As written by
Oh.
Jane Austen.
yeah. I
Kind of
actually
feels
get
like
more
a
shit for
Name of
Red
the
Rising,
Wind
but
kind of thing. It feels like
yeah,
I was getting Name of the Wind vibes from like just like that kind of like, oh, now
For
he's
sure.
living on the streets and like, oh,
For
now
sure.
we're it's
Like-
and it's also like episodic in the same, maybe not like Name of the Wind is, in my opinion, a little bit episodic. And I kind of get that same vibe where it's like, oh, now we're in this spot. Oh, this is like a completely different story almost.
yeah, you know the
The
ending.
Name of the Wind is one of the greatest books ever written.
Okay,
I would
do.
hope
really
that's not
love
his
to
point.
argue with you about that if we had more time. Like we could do a whole other podcast about that.
Half Michael. Michael doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
We're
you
talking
can
about
take
one of the
that,
goats.
take that elsewhere. Zach, just slide into his comments and raise hell. Okay.
I'm gonna
Whatever
write a
he's talking
comment.
about.
to this
Yeah,
guy.
but Name of the Wind.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Name of the Wind
so-
tattoo. Like, Name of the Wind is the best.
The
Anyways,
Name of the Wind tattoo, and the series isn't even done.
bold call. I'm waiting for the allegations to come out against the author.
Yeah,
At
it's
least
a good
the Wheel of
Sandman
Time, and it's
tattoo,
over. It's over, dude. It's
That's
Yeah,
a cool
plus,
one. I
he's
like
not
that.
coming out with any controversial statements anytime soon.
Ooh, Rufus?
No, Robert Jordan.
Robert Jordan definitely isn't.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Yeah, I'm safe. I know.
None
I
of
wait
us
till
get
authors
this money.
die.
Thanks, Rifkin. There was a
That's
question
good
that was
idea.
up before
you,
this,
Rifkin.
but what
Yeah,
was
I mean,
the-
I got this tattoo, and then Rothfuss just like stole $1 million from a charity. I was like, "Fuck."
yeah, that's why like I don't want to like shit on my contemporaries or
dangerous.
anybody that could end up being a peer, but like I'll make an exception for Rufus. Like he seems kind of prickish, you know, like stealing money from a charity. I don't know. It's just like that. I can draw lines, you know,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
yeah,
You have to be friends with
But-
everybody.
I'm friends with all of you.
So,
You're my friends
well,
now.
yes. This is-
You're my only
Well,
friends now.
as long as nobody goes stealing money from charities, we're in.
Yeah.
We're tight.
I would love to find
so we have this
charity
question.
to steal money from.
We have this question here. I kind of want to put it on hold, unless you guys really want to answer it. And I want to ask one of my questions. And I'm just going to wrap two together, and you can pick or choose, or like just a quick fun one. But I love side characters, and I love villains. As a kid, I dream some of the, you know, when I wasn't dreaming of writing books, it was to grow up and be the villain in a movie. Because I always felt like villains were like, they just made the movie better. I never liked Superman or anything like that because the villains are kind of weak. But Batman, right? The villains pretty much are the whole thing to me. So I also love side characters. Game of Thrones is like the GOAT in terms of presenting a character that says one thing and they die a page later and you're like, that side character was the baddest motherfucker who ever lived, right? So I want to hear from y'all. Who is your favorite side character or villain? Bonus points if you're like, this villain is speaking sense and I think I might join them against the good guys, right?
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
love those.
I'll go.
Yeah, go for
Let
it.
me go. Because I got to go in like 15 minutes anyway. I'm a big fan of side character. The best side character in fantasy is Benedict. If anybody's ever read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, I don't know if anybody's read Ted Williams, but Benedict, he is this little troll, and he is the best side character ever. If you've read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, you would agree with me. But when it comes to bad guys, I love a bad guy, especially when it comes to like Darth Vader, right? Or even one of my favorite bad guys early on, who it'll get spoiler if I go too far into it, but the Lightbringer series by Brenton Weeks, Andros Guile, like kind of changed how I think of characters and the sides that I take as I read. And so that was Andros Guile, like changed my mind a lot on, maybe the greater good is the better option here. than this one person. So I really like a character that's going out for the greater good as opposed to, and usually those are the bad guys, unfortunately. Bad guy. I always do this to my wife. She gets mad when I say the bad guys. I always
What do
put
you think
quotes
about-
around. Yeah.
What do you think about Thanos?
Thanos?
Hmm.
I'm a
If
DC
we're
guy.
talking
Bro, I
about,
love Thanos. I'm like, I wanted to make
sorry
a
about
shirt.
my vomit face.
I wanted to make a shirt that had the Earth and a peace sign around it, splitting it in half. Saying I stand with Thanos, just as a joke. I just think Thanos
Splitting
is
it in
fun.
half.
Yes.
God damn.
I think Thanos has some good. He has some good points. I think a lot of these guys do. There are obviously bad guys who are just bad guys. Like Jafar from Aladdin. Like, there's nothing good about what Jafar is doing.
It's a
Right.
really astute
Yeah.
point. Yeah, but I wasn't expecting Jafar to be. That's 100% right. Yeah.
He's a good example of a
He's
bad
just
guy
a
who actually doesn't do
mustache
anything.
twirly villain. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I want
it's
to
not
piss
useful.
Evan off.
Let's hear it.
The best villain, in my opinion, is the Cathay from Wise Man's Fear. Name of the Wind, Book 2.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and not
The
say it's
last
the best.
book in the series.
I agree with you that the Cathay,
Oh.
the Cathay part is probably my favorite part in both of those books. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's like
it's
15
incredible.
pages of just
It's really
absolute
good.
beauty.
It's terrifying. It's like
Yeah,
and then Bast's
it's so
reaction
cynical.
to it when it's like the fact like that scene in and of itself is already just a lot, and then Bast reacting the way that he does after he hears about it is just like it adds so much weight to it. Mr. Burns from the
Yeah.
Simpsons. Yeah. So I'll it's a nice little olive branch for you. There you
Yeah, I'm glad we're friends. This is
Yeah.
how you got published by Tor. We're just making connections. That's good
because they
stuff.
knew we were good friends.
But best side character, I think I have to give it to one of Michael's favorite books with Richard K. Morgan's book. Egar Dragonsbane is an elite side character. He's pretty much the MVP of those books.
I haven't read any Richard K. Morgan.
Those are good
Oh,
books.
shit.
They're kind of like light Abercrombie almost.
Light? That shit's
Yeah.
darker than Abercrombie.
Really?
No, Lite.
Yes. Oh, okay. It's
Yeah.
actually, I would say, First Law and A Land Fit for Heroes are the two most that's the most comparative for Abercrombie's First Law to me, because they're both intimate voice, beautiful prose. The plot, you're going through the series going, what the fuck is the plot again? I have no idea, but I like these 3 or 4 main characters. They're all badass, and the action is excellent.
The Steel Remains is the first one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look at those.
Yeah, they're
Those are good.
to
First
me,
30
like they're
pages
kind of
was
like what
kind of
Second Apocalypse
weird.
is to Malazan.
Prose.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen the name. I only knew Richard Morgan from the Altered Carbon stuff.
Mhm.
$30 for the paperback. What the fuck?
You got half price books. They're
Who is
over
this
half
now?
price
Yeah, I'm
books.
gonna do half price over thrift books or something. Jeez, I'm not made of money.
Yeah.
What?
You-
Oh, really? Damn.
You'll see
dude.
them.
No.
30 for a
See them
paperback?
half price books all the time.
That's bullshit.
Let's see.
I'm gonna go with, for me, I don't know about that. Oh, Miles Lyon, you're gonna get the fucking ban, bro, just for crossing me and because I know you. No way. I read Altered Carbon and it was pretty good, but the ending just kind of petered out. And maybe that'll happen with the trilogy. I'm only halfway
I
through.
might
the
watch
third
the
book. We'll see
show.
what happens. Yeah, the show was kind of fun if you were high.
Dang.
But I'm gonna go with Magneto as my favorite villain of all time.
Killer. Yeah.
Magneto's
great.
good. That's a good
And
one.
then-
That's a
That's a
great
great
pick.
one.
I love Magneto so much. Honorable mention goes to, now I know The Legends of Korra was not as widely well received as Avatar:
Oh,
Last Airbender.
It's still
However-
great. It's still great.
The 3rd season is the best season of any of them. Okay.
I don't
oh,
think
shit, I
the
forgot his
season
name.
overall
What's his name?
is, but the villain is amazing.
Zahir. Yes. Zahir
Yeah.
is actually makes sense. And I'm like, Zahir is the goated bad guy. He is who you root for the whole 3rd season. So good. Anybody watch that besides me and Andy?
Oh yeah.
And wait,
No, I'm loyal.
You guys not Avatar
I
fans?
ride and die with the OG, brother.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta watch season 3. You gotta watch season 3 of Legends of Korra. It's so
You
Uh,
have to chain me up and make me.
I'm gonna pitch mine in. if you don't mind. My favorite side character is Jean Tannen from the
Oh
Gentleman Bastards.
yes. Oh, that's such a
Yeah,
good
like,
one.
He's Samwise Gamgee with axes.
dude,
He's
I
main
fucking love
character all
Jean
the
so
way.
much. Yeah, it's like I almost didn't want to say he's a side character, but like because he's just got so much main character energy. But
Yeah.
God, I love Jean so much. Like
John's
he
So cool.
he is like he's like 60% of the reason why I love those books so much, and he's not even the main character. Then my favorite villain is probably Cersei Lannister, especially after reading A Feast for Crows when you get her POVs.
Yes.
And I think that like I'm I'm not a parent, but like this idea that somebody could do all of these like horrible things for such a pretty boilerplate reason, like it's really not that complicated. Like, and I think that that's what is so alluring about her as a villain is just like she's not like this undefeatable person really, like strength wise, or even like her motivations aren't like these really complex, like difficult to understand motivations. It's just she just loves the shit out of her kids and she doesn't care about anybody else. And it's just like it makes for such a formidable, like unpredictable, willing to do anything person. And then especially in the Feast for Crows POV chapters that she has, when she's just like losing her mind, like she's like super paranoid all the time. And like, it's like, I mean, I think a really good villain, and like some of the people, like Darth Vader being like the really good example of this, like someone that you, and Michael, you kind of touched on this, but like feeling like you can relate to them and you don't really agree with their actions at all, but it gives you like that kind of like conflict within yourself of like, really, should I really be even relating to them this much? But yeah, like I think Cersei for sure is like top.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones has got a fucking billion of these ones, honestly.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
side characters from Game of Thrones is what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah,
Fabian
like I mean,
Voss. No. I do not like this comment. I do not. I
Alright, he's
take
gone.
umbrage.
Kick him out.
I take umbrage.
wait, can you bring
with
it back
Fabian
up?
Voss.
I saw Empire of the Vampire. And,
No. That is. Oh God.
No.
That
Wait, hold on. I don't want any spoilers, dude. I've only read book one. I'm booting you.
It was Empire of the Vampire. It didn't say.
Yeah, it's
It
just
wasn't
book
it?
one. Fabian,
Yeah.
dude, that guy. I did this.
Okay.
I did this guillotine challenge thing on my Bookstagram, and dude, I could have done all 5 people. It's all him. Because as someone with a child, and you read Fabian Voss, there's nobody you hate more. Yeah, that's my Fabian
And
Voss fan.
you
I
don't
mean, he's
love.
very
You
good.
don't love to hate him. You just hate him.
Yeah, you just hate him.
Yeah.
But he's a good villain because I hate him so much. Like I get it. But still, I don't like to think about it. When I see his name, I have visceral reactions.
I think
mad now.
Morgoth had the right idea. And Sauron,
Yeah.
they just want to cover the world in darkness. Like,
Which is fair.
how bad could it be?
Oh, Gabrielle, fucking Kyle. I just started. I'm on Ship of Magic right now. That man,
Kyle, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
He's the worst. He's so bad too.
I hate him. Like people said, Kenneth is a
bad.
terrible character. Kenneth
like
is
Kenneth.
charming.
Yeah.
No, Kenneth's fine.
Yeah.
Kenneth's
He's
fine.
a huge dick, but he's charming. And
I'd get a beer with Kenneth.
but Kyle, goddamn, I was thinking about it today. I was reading one of the. I'm still at like 35% mark on Ship of Magic because the book is so goddamn long.
They're deceptively long,
It's
aren't
so
they?
good though. It's so
like
good.
all of Hobbes'
It's so
books, they're
good.
written on like Bible pages.
What's
Fucking
weird is that
Kyle.
what's weird is that the ship hasn't sailed yet. We're 35% of the way, 8,000 pages.
Andy, it's
into
worth
this book.
it. It's worth it.
You gotta have
sure it
every
is.
little bit of internal dialogue.
sure
They
it
gotta
is. That's
talk
the
about
thing.
all their feelings.
There's been no moment since I don't know the first 50 pages where I've been bored, but I'm like, nothing has happened yet. I see where this is going. This is going to be amazing when it gets going, but it needs to get going because I need things to happen. But no, it's been amazing. But I had a visceral reaction to Kyle today where I was like, oh, I will murder this motherfucker because he's so convinced in his rightness and there's so much toxicity. Oh my God. That is a villain that I will absolutely hate.
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking about
But I
how
can't
much
tell
you
if
hate
I
Kyle
love it.
right now.
I can't tell if I love this or hate this. I haven't read this book, but I'm hearing the character's name is Kyle, and I'm like,
It's a funny name.
Yo, Kyle. This is the name of a
Yeah, it
fantasy
is not
book.
a very
But then-
fantasy book name for sure.
But then you're thinking like he's the biggest piece of shit ever, and I'm like, yo, everybody had a bully named Kyle.
Yeah, dude.
No
I
offense to
don't have
Kyle's
any
out,
friends
but
named Kyle.
kind of I'm okay with offending them because kind of probably dicks, honestly. And
They're in
I'm
jail.
like, okay, so the author was like, who's the biggest, bully piece of crap I want people to hate? Kyle. It makes sense, honestly. I'm like, all right,
Robin Hobb,
let's do it.
she might. I bet she dated a guy named Kyle, and it didn't end well, and that's how his name got.
Does it ever with Kyle's?
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I've never met a Kyle I liked.
Hey, I hate to cut in. I know some of us are leaving in like 4 minutes. Do we want to give Michael
Yes.
a chance to pitch his book, considering we're supposed to be here
Yep.
supporting him, and instead we just talk shit about Kyle and Noah and everybody?
Fucking
Bro, that
Kyle.
does
Yeah.
support me.
And
Fuck
Noah.
Noah and fuck Kyle.
The more we can talk shit about Kyle's, the happier I am. That's funny. I was like, I gotta leave time for everybody to tell the people what they got.
No,
coming
this
up.
is your day, man. You just did a
Yeah, we're here to
release.
support you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, y'all. Shit, what should I say? People like this.
Tell
book.
people where they can find the
Uh,
first book if they haven't read this, if they're not.
This
caught
is
up.
where we betray
Oh, yeah.
Michael and we just talk over him.
Listen, okay. Dreams of Dust and Steel is what you want to put into the search bar on Amazon. Okay.
Barnes and Noble.
The Price of Power
Amazon.
is the name of the first book. There are 5 books in the Dreams of Dust and Steel series. That's called a pentology, if you didn't know.
Thought it was a quintet.
I thought it was a quintology, and then I looked it up today, and it's called a pentology. And I was like, that's way cooler.
Yeah,
Like a
that does
pentagram.
sound cool.
That does sound
Yeah.
way cooler. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, wow, I should be marketing this as a pentology now.
Mentology.
Again, it draws a lot of comparisons to Abercrombie and Game of Thrones. It's a multi-POV, big fat chunky boy. It's very character driven. The storylines don't necessarily intersect. A little bit of a Hyperion feel to the story. You could see how they might intersect, but it is a slow march toward a finale in book 5. Although every book's got its own little finale. Lots of characters. If you love that, yeah, very descriptive gore violence, but also lots of like the psychosocial aspects. My experience as a counselor and a coach, I infuse that into it. So we got characters dealing with drug addiction, loneliness, grief, etc. So if you like more emotionally driven epic fantasy, character driven epic fantasy, you could end up liking this. Suicidality
Michael,
also.
Can I
is a
say
theme.
for you? Let me talk
Sure.
for you, Michael.
Yeah, say for me.
So-
I'm fucking doing a terrible job and no one knows
Yeah.
it. Thank you. I'm gonna
You're doing a great
La-
job. No, like you're selling it, man.
Last year, I read 152 books, and Michael's book was in my top 3.
Hell
The Price
yeah.
of Power. So, The Price of Power. What I love so much about it is if you're a fan, and I know Michael, this probably isn't his favorite comparison, but if you like Malazan and you like how the stories kind of are disconnected, and you like trying to search for why are these going to work or where is this going to go, you're going to like that in Michael's books because the stuff feels very disconnected, but at the same time, there's like these little tiny threads that you can start to see coming together. On top of that, if you're a fan of Abercrombie and you love those like in the head, you love that deep character dive, Michael does that beautifully. He does it so well throughout these characters are great. I think about them all the time. I compare other characters in books to Michael's characters. And the best part is it is grim. It is dark, but there's these little lights of hope like that you see throughout the book. There's like 4 or 5 times in that first book where you have like this, like, hey, maybe this is going to be okay. Whereas you're reading Abercrombie, you're like, this is not going to be okay. So I like that Michael's book still has these little lights of hope. Whether that pans out or not, I have no idea. But it's there, and I can trick myself into thinking something good's going to happen. So yeah, it's just I'm excited to see where this is all going to come together because the first book just lays so much groundwork and does a great job building out this world, building out these characters. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like you're reading a 700-page book.
Yeah.
Just
that.
because it flows so well and you're so invested. So Michael, like honestly, dude, your book last year was one of my favorite I've read last year. I still think about the book all the time. I'm literally starting book 2 next week after I finish Andy's book. I'm sure yours is way better, Michael. But we'll, yeah. Just
Yeah.
kidding, Andy.
I want to follow Noah up
Like,
there.
I'm not
Just
gonna-
wrote a review. Yeah,
I'm not going to argue that. Price of Power was in my top 10 of 23. My books have never been in my top 10 of any year. So,
Yeah, I do want to follow Noah up there. Just pitch the book. I reviewed it for Grimdark Magazine yesterday or 2 days ago or something. When I read it in 23, it was my second favorite book of the year, followed shortly behind Toll the Hounds. The new one's even better. And then book 2 is, I think, the best single indie book I've ever read. It is fantastic stuff, and I am immensely excited for where Michael Michel is taking us.
You got me hyped. I'm gonna have to put Andy's book down.
Thanks, dude.
Oh yeah, no, fuck Andy.
Don't
Yeah.
do that.
Well, hell yeah! Nice job, everybody. We did a live stream. Huzzah.
Yeah, I think we're still live.
so now that
Are
the
we still
live is
live?
over and
Oh.
nobody's watching us, we should really just start like we lied the whole time about Michael's book. When
When are we going to
Oh,
book
bad,
club
man.
sucks.
Yeah.
Luckily, no one's watching us.
I
because
know.
this
We were
is
like,
really
"Oh, just keep
embarrassing.
going if you're having a hard time with it." And it's just like, no. Sometimes you gotta stop,
No.
Michael. Like,
Like
I'm over here
smooth-
writing in the private chat what to
Yes.
say, you know?
applause.
Okay, I do gotta go.
Wow.
I do gotta go though, guys. Thank you so much.
Cool, guys.
You
Yeah, I'm gonna
don't-
go play. I'm
obviously
playing
useless,
Expedition
so.
33. So
Hey, everybody,
I'm about to
if you
start.
love
I'm
these
planning to start
amazing
that soon.
people,
so good.
go follow them on socials. Go pick up their books as well. Thank you for the positive praise, guys. And
Please buy my
so
book.
fucking fun to have all of you. If any of you ever want to talk to me anytime, I'm up.
You guys can DM me
All right.
anytime you want.
You can
Slide up
DM me
in
whenever
there.
you
At
want.
least
I
for
don't know
life.
if I'm gonna get back.
Slide in there.
Let's see.
All right. Goodbye forever.
All right, no, you're getting kicked out before we leave.
You're not gonna
So
kick
I'm
me
leaving-
out.
I'm not leaving. No, I'm quitting. I'm quitting.